Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will be discussing how to construct a bar graph with overlay using Python. So let's begin. Firstly, we need to load the required package and read in the bank marketing training dataset as bank train. So we have first imported the pandas module and then we have initialized bank train dataset with the bank marketing dataset using the pd.read_csv function, which contains the file location of the bank marketing training dataset. The first step in creating a bar graph is to create a contingency table of the values in the predictor and target variables. To create the contingency table, we use the crosstab command. So we have named it to as crosstab_01. So now we will use the pd.crosstab function, which contains the dataset of the previous outcome and the response one and the response column of the bank train. This code will be examined in later on when we discuss how we have made the contingency table. So now then we use the plot function to plot the bar graph. So here we use the plot function for crosstab_01. So the function would be crosstab.01.plot, and in the braces we write the kind of graph we need to build. Here we need to build a bar graph, so we have specified bar and the stacking method, which is true. To create the bar graph, append.plot to the end of the crosstab01 object. The plot command takes various optimal input values. We specify the kind of bar to plot a bar graph and stacked equal to true to specify a stacked bar graph. To create a normalized version, we need to change the table so that the values in each cell are proportions of no and yes response values within each value of the predictor previous outcomes as follow. So then we normalize it by using the div command. Crosstab01.div contains some 1 and axis equal to 0. The div command will divide the values of the table by another object within each specified axis. In our example, we want to divide the cells in row 1 of the table by the sum of the cells in row 1 and so on for row 2 and row 3. To accomplish this, we first set the values we want to divide by the crosstab_01 sum 1, which is the sum of the each row in the table. Then we set x is equal to 0 to specify that we want to divide the rows of the table by these values. The result is a table whose cells are the proportion of the data in that row that falls in the column. We save the resulting crosstab as crosstab_norm, which once the table is saved, visualize it using the code for a stacked bar graph chart as above. Crosstab_norm. Now then we build the norm table for this crosstab function. The crosstab_norm.plot kind is the bar, which is the kind of graph we need to specify, and the stacking is true. So here, as we can see, it is the normalized graph where the values contains responses as yes and no, for failure, for non-existent, and for success. This is the code for creating a bar graph. Firstly, we have imported the pandas in the matplotlib libraries. Then we have included the path of the dataset files that we want to use. Then we have initialized the dataset into a data frame with using the pd.read_csv function, which contains the file path and the delimiter. Then we have created the contingency table for the column that we want to construct the bar graph using the crosstab function. Now we have used the dot plot function to create the kind of graph we want to make. Here the kind of the bar graph, here the kind is the bar graph and the stacking is true. Then we have added the title label and label for the x-axis and the y-axis respectively using the dot title and dot x label and y label respectively. And then we have used the show command to show the bar graph as an output on the plotting screen. To make the normalize cross tabulation, we have first used the diff command to sum normalize the sum of the cross tabs underscore 01. And then similarly, we have made the title X label and Y label respectively for this normalized tag bar graph as well. And then we have used dot show to print it on the screen. Then we have used print underscore bank train dot columns to print the bank columns. This is the output of the bar graphs. This one is the normalized stack bar graph for the cross tabulation of education level. And this is the simple stack bar graph for the cross tabulation. As we can see in stack bar graph, the each bar contains two values, that is yes value and the no values, and we have normalized it to the value just to 1 in every case of the education level in the normalized tag bar graph. As we can see over here, basic 4-year salary contains around 0.9% yes and 0.1 people as no. So to every extent it only reaches up to 1. So this is how we build normalized and simple stack bar graph using Python. Thank you.